News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A Halloween pumpkin prank lands a Missoula man in jail. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, October the 28th, 2016. Right now, the sky is cloudy. We do have some fog in the area. We're sitting at 47 degrees in Missoula right now. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Western States Cat, offering free local delivery from their stock of over 15,000 truck and equipment parts. Western States Cat, built for Montana. 22-year-old Peter Breigenzer was arrested early yesterday morning after continuing a Halloween tradition of placing a pumpkin on top of the spire of U of M's main hall. Director of Communications for the President's Office, Paula Short, described what happened.
About 3:30 this morning, a UMPD officer observed a man trying to climb Main Hall. The officer gave the order for the man to descend. He did not immediately comply, instead proceeding to the top of the building, placing the pumpkin, and then descending. Upon descent, the man was arrested, and there are charges against him, including criminal trespass to property and obstructing a peace officer by not obeying the officer's instructions.
Short paraphrased a comment by the arresting University of Montana police officer.
This is a more than 100-year-old building, and you might be trusting it a little too much in terms of trusting that you can either tie in or climb the side of the building in a safe manner. I mean, it is just not safe to do that, and it is prohibited and it is illegal.
Court records indicate that Breigenzer appeared in municipal court on misdemeanor charges of criminal trespass and obstructing a peace officer. Short said there are no plans to retrieve the pumpkin. It'll stay on top of Main Hall until nature takes its course, and it just falls down. 32-year-old Jack Daniel Stilger is in the Missoula County Jail this morning after a homeowner called police at 7:30 Wednesday night, claiming that a man was in his home. Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh explains.
Missoula police officers were dispatched to what was reported as a burglary in progress in the 100 block of South 3rd Street. Upon their arrival, they learned that the complainant had actually chased the suspect from his apartment around the corner to a convenience store in the 600 block of South Higgins, where the suspect actually barricaded himself inside a restroom.
The suspect came out of the restroom when police arrived. Police are still investigating why the suspect was in the home in the first place. No items appear to have been stolen. Apparently, though, a video camera may have been involved.
Potentially charges might include burglary, trespassing, depending on what he was actually doing there. There's speculation that he may have been taking photographs or recording the interior of the apartment. So there's a potential charge of surreptitious visual observation or recording.
The homeowner was not alone at the time of the burglary. His girlfriend was also there. Current charges on the Missoula County Jail roster include felony burglary and 2 misdemeanors for carrying a concealed weapon while intoxicated and for surreptitious visual observation or recording. His bail was set in Justice Court at $50,000. The former chief financial officer of Vans Incorporated has been sentenced to 14 months in prison after pleading guilty to conspiring to defraud the employee-owned electronics and appliance retailer, causing it to file for bankruptcy in 2012. The Missoulian reports Paul Lynn Nisbet was sentenced yesterday by U.S. District Judge Dana Christensen. Nisbet and former CEO George Leslie Manlove were charged last year with more than 200 federal counts. Prosecutors say they created shell corporations to buy property that housed Vans stores and caused Vans to make above-market lease payments to repay those loans. The restitution hearing is set for November 16th. Manlove's trial is scheduled to start January 9th. Prosecutors allege he also caused Vans to pay for hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal expenses. The state of Montana and U.S. Department of the Interior say they'll seek compensation for environmental damages caused by a 30,000-gallon pipeline spill into the Yellowstone River. Most of the oil from the Bridger Pipeline Company's 2015 spill near the North Dakota border was never recovered. The river was frozen when the break occurred. The spill temporarily contaminated water supplies for 6,000 people. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox, who, by the way, will be on Talkback at about 9:30 this morning, said it's too early to say how much money will be sought from Bridger. Safety and security are 2 of the hallmarks presented by the Missoula County School District 1 when asking voters to approve the $158 million combined bond issue back in 2014. Director of Communications and Technology Hatton Lippman said yesterday the Missoula County Board of Trustees began the process by approving negotiations with PhotoScan Northwest of Missoula.
This week on Tuesday at our public board meeting, the board approved having contract negotiations with the company that would provide the district with card key access and security cameras. So we don't know exactly what that contract's going to look like, but we've at least identified the winning bidder at this point.
Lippman said both the newly constructed schools and the remodeled facilities will still allow visitors to enter the school buildings without accessing those security systems.
Most of our projects are being designed so that the front entry door will be unlocked. People will be able to come in, be greeted by the main office, the secretary, whatever personnel is there. And then there's a second set of doors behind which student activity happens, and they would have to be buzzed in to pass that perimeter.
Work continues on Franklin and Lowell schools and the new buildings there, as well as remodeling on several other facilities. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter has announced that he's ordered the Pentagon to stop demanding that National Guardsmen and women who re-enlisted for duty in Iraq and Afghanistan return the bonuses that were paid to them by the government. Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke, a 23-year SEAL team commander, explained what happened.
It's a contract. So these young guardsmen, they got a contract with the government. They said for 6 years. They got a bonus as part of that contract. And then what's apparent is the government made a mistake, in some cases shortened enlistments, and then they want the money back.
Zinke said he was one of a number of congressmen to write a letter to the Department of Defense asking for an investigation into the controversy.
From our side, a number of members have signed a letter, asking for an investigation, the details, so we can make the right decision, or we can force the Department of Defense to make the right decision. I think ultimately, we have to protect our troops and make sure that our troops know that we have their back.
Then yesterday, Defense Secretary Ash Carter put a stop to the practice. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said he was glad the Pentagon, quote, came to its senses, end quote. A 36-year-old Big Fork man died in a one-vehicle rollover crash on Montana Highway 83 near Condon. The highway patrol said the man's SUV went off the west side of the highway about 3:30 Wednesday afternoon. He overcorrected, causing the vehicle to roll across the northbound lane. The driver was thrown from the SUV and came to rest in the center of the northbound lane. Jeff Smith with Kerr AM reports the man died at the scene. His name has not been released. Our Newstalk time, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A little bit of fog around the Missoula area, but should not be as bad as yesterday. Actually, we'll see a little bit of sunshine as we head on into the afternoon. Clouds clearing out for the time being, and we get to a high of around 53. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Montana Severe Weather Alert Team.